Yes, 64 years ago, Nigeria gained its independence, and ever since then, we've been counting and been looking at development, and the country has been able to record, a level of development from a government to the other. Yes, it is true that development is the yearning, but of course, when you look at the fact that a 64-year-old in the context of living, if it is a woman being, you'll be referring to such a person as a grandpa or grandma. So the country has come of age, but of course, can we say we have measured up to the expected development? Yes, the country is also still a developing nation. We also hope and pray that we'll get there one day. And it is on that note that I'm welcoming you to another interesting episode of your darling program today, Roundtable on OGTV, with me, Morani KJ Shobaloju. Yes, a lot is on the table that we'll be discussing today. Yes, we're looking at the leadership and good governance. The story of Nigeria since independence, since 1960, has it been? Is leadership the problem? Is it that, we still have shortcomings in a way? Of course, that is inevitable. But before I let the guest in the studio, introduce my guest to you today, let's quickly take this short break, and I'll be back to introduce my guest in the studio. Yes, glad to have you back. Today is a very typical topic we're looking at. Of course, it's our birthday as a nation. We are 64-year-old today, and we're looking at the development that we have so far experienced. Of course, all of this rests on the shoulder of leadership, because when you look at the situation of the country nowadays, you also want to say, where are we? The poverty level gets increasing by the day. Insecurity gets, when the solution is here, then we'll still think of another thing to battle with. Yes, government has been coming, government after government, and one government will want to leverage on another government area of weakness and develop and, have a way of fashion a solution to move forward. But of course, today, we're still yearning, we're still hoping that Nigeria would be great. Today, we're looking at leadership and good governance, the Nigeria story since independence. And I'll be doing that alone in the studio. I have joining me in the discussion today, Venerable Dr. Gbero Adebi. He's a public affairs analyst and elder statesman for that matter. He would also be telling us what we need to know post-independence and the status of the nation, Nigeria. Join me and welcome Venerable Dr. Gbero Adebi.
It's a pleasure having me once again. I say happy new month to viewers, and a happy independence to all of us.
Happy birthday to Nigeria. Glad having you join us. Yes, also I'm having another comrade in the studio. His name is Comrade Aderele Michael. He is the chairman of Abiodun Like Minds, and we're talking about leadership. So let's see how it looks like from his side. Comrade, welcome.
Good morning, Warren KG. Good morning, our viewers at home, and happy 64th Independence, Nigeria.
Yes. Let's go straight to the business. Like I said earlier, Nigeria has come of age. And I will start from Dr. Gbero. Nigeria is 64, and when you look at it in the real context, anybody that is 64 is old enough to be called a grandpa or a grandma, and the nation, of course, is at this age. What do you see? Yes, we're looking at leadership. Everything has been resting on the shoulder of leadership. They say bad governance, all of these things. Where's the link? How is leadership, related to good governance? Let's start from there.
Thank you, moderator. You see, we need to situate issues in perspectives and context to really get it right. And in so doing, who is a leader? And like you said in your intro, you talked about development. These are very critical issues that has to be x-rayed so as to get to the point we are going. So when you say a leader is a man or woman that sets organizational goals and directs him. That is a leader. And when you say governance, governance has to do with the process of articulation, aggregation, and allocation of resources. So you can see the symbiotic nexus between the two. It works hand in hand. One cannot go without the other. So it's a nexus between the leadership and the governance process. Somebody has to set the pace, has to set the tone, the direction, the goals and objectives of society or organizations. And it takes charge, it takes responsibility for same. And governance, on the other hand, has to do with allocation, aggregation, articulation of scarce resources. So like I said, the two are symbiotic. But when you go further and you situate that within the context of development, because all this dovetails to development. Development is threefold now. Development is a process. Development is interactions. And development is action. So when you now frame out within this context, you appreciate what development is all about, and we can further discuss about Nigeria, how far, so far, how good so far. And bearing in mind that 64 years in the journey of a man or woman or a nation is quite a milestone. It's not a child's play. So as we go along, we shall unfold more.
That's why I said, you know, as noted by Soludo in 2027, according to him, where governance is the tradition and the institutions in a country, of course, by which authority is exercised, then he now go further to say that leadership is the act of exercising the authority. Yes, you look at that phrase and you want to just suppose, you know, rewind back and see the development in the country, government after government, since 1960. What's your view? How do you analyze the situation? Talking about the fact that we are still in the developing, you know, status. Nigeria is still a developing nation. Are we supposed to still be a developing nation?
Thank you once again. Like I said, development is a process. It's gradual. It's not spontaneous. It's not something you attain in a jiffy. It's not something you attain in a hurry. When you look at the pre-colonial Africa, so as it were, we had our traditional institutions, we had our economic systems, we have our governance processes and the likes, but with colonialism, with the advent of colonialism, everything was thwarted and distorted. So that was a setback. We were colonized. After colonization, there was neo-colonization. After neo-colonization, we are now at the level of technological colonization. So these are processes that as a nation we have passed through. So by and large, it has been a mixed grill, a mixed bag. It has been good, it has been bad, but we could have done better and we can still do better. But by and large, like I said, when you look at it within the context and parameters of development, it's a process. And we have gone through some processes, and we are still passing through some processes.
Comrade Aderele, how do you define the status of Nigeria as a nation, talking about development and, you know, governance since 1960? He has said that, you know, colonial era, then of course technological colonization that we are going through at the moment. What's your take? How do you react to this?
Well, first of all, let me congratulate Nigeria once again. And for the peace we are enjoying in this nation, we have every reason to still say thank you to God and the leadership. Because if the country is not peaceful by this time, I don't think we'll be here. And that is one of the responsibility of a good leader. Well, so far so good. I would say Nigeria is blessed. Ogun State is blessed. Well, your station, Roji TV, is blessed. We are all blessed, Nigeria. And to that, I would say, yes, we have not really achieved so much, but at the same time, we are coming up. And I believe very soon we'll get there. You see, what is good leadership, or what is leadership to a common Nigeria, to that woman selling pepper out there, to that transporter, to that you know, child in that school or the other. Governance is just like, I can be able to access basic amenities. school is affordable, social amenities, accommodation, transportation. To a layman, governance is just like, I want to eat and I can eat at the right time. But if you look at it, yes, the economy is not smiling. And you agree with me that, let me just speak it from 1963 to 1966, when we are, practicing a kind of Republican government, whereby we have a presidential system of government and we have a prime minister. You agree with me that during that period, yes, we are very few in number. We are about just 55,000 thereabouts as a nation. And when you compare with the our status now,
20 million,
Nigeria about going to about 200 million now.
Yes.
You agree with me that it's not, you cannot, compare the margin is so wide. And as the country is growing, is increasing, the challenges are meant to increase. Security challenge, economic challenge, employment challenges, so on like that. And for us to really have good good edge out of that, we need a very responsible leadership, a very responsive, articulate, and a leader that has the interests of his people at heart. And to that effect, well, we are not doing bad. But if you look at the past, the challenges we are facing, that we find ourselves where we are today, is the challenge of leadership. You agree with me that Nigeria is very rich in human capital resources. We are very rich in natural resources. Those times, you can mention of that in the north, mention of cotton wool and so, textile, all those things.
Even gold.
In the west, gold. In the west, you can talk of cocoa industry, you can talk of so many agricultural produce. Where are those things nowadays? And that is why we find ourselves where we are right now. And you also agree with me that in the area of infrastructural development, well, we are not doing bad. We are doing well. But the challenges we are facing are in the area of the good leadership we ought to have, gotten that we are here to get it right. And this, you cannot put an accusing finger to a particular administration or whatever.
Particular government.
All of us, the leaders, the citizens, all of us have one role or the other to play in the development of our country. So until all of us
come together and join force to make the country great. Yes, Venerable, I am coming to you, and this time around I want to quickly let us look at this scenario that played out recently. Yes, to a woman who lost a child to maybe the poverty level, maybe a poverty status, she couldn't help but to say, oh, if not for my poverty status, if not for the fact that I'm unable to afford little medical what's it called for my child, the child wouldn't have died the way he died. Then you want to now look at the fact that everybody in some opinion polls, Nigeria can never rise. They say Nigeria can never rise out of this decadence and impoverished status if the leadership who was supposed to, that have the moral standing to do things that are not doing the right thing. What do you say to this? Because when you look at some of these government policies, fine, as beautiful as they were, I don't know, there's this missing link because it is actually not getting to where it should get to. If there is, we're talking about health now, the accessibility to this health, how do you, analyze all of this together and let us see what the policy of government has been? Where are we today? The poverty level is getting rising by the day, and the people are still crying, and the government says they are trying.
Thank you, moderator. You see, like I said, who is a leader? A leader sets the pace. He sets the tone for organizational growth, for societal growth and development. And to do that, it's not a tea party. As a leader, you must be a visionary. Do we really have visionaries leading us in this country? To some extent, yes. But to a large extent, there are issues, contentious issues. As a leader, you must have vision. And the Bible says, my people perish because they lack vision. Number one, that is one of
Venerable is going to church now.
That is one of the greatest attributes of leadership. Any leader, at whatever level, be it at the home level, at the church level, at the mosque level, at the societal level, community level, you must be visionary. If you lack that, forget about it. Because this was really encapsulated by former Tanzanian President Julius Nyerere in one of his classical works. He says development is human-focused. Development is people-centered and oriented. The mindset, what is our mindset? What is our perception of that terminology? Leadership. We trivialize it oftentimes. It's like a child's play to us. It's something that we just play with. It's like a chess game on the table. Whereas leadership demands and entails a lot from us. Who leads you in your home as a man, as the head of the home? It's very fundamental. As the head of the family, who leads that family? As the head of this place, who leads this place? What is his vision for a new OGTV, a rebranded, a transformed OGTV vision? But following that is focus. Vision without focus is nothing. You must be focused. You must be determined, because along the path there will be challenges.
But Venerable, government have been coming after government with different visions. They want to tell you that this is my plan, these are my plans, this is what I want to do. And a government, let's say for example, a government is taken over from another. We practice democratic system of government that has come to stay for a very long time now. So when a government is about to leave office, the other one coming in wants to see the weakness of the past administration, say I want to build on this, or the strengths I want to build on and leverage on the weakness and develop my. But it's so unfortunate that what is that thing that is missing? It's unfortunate that the situation is still like this, Venerable. Are you not thinking that direction?
You are simply trying to talk about policy discontinuity or incontinuity. Yes. So you see, like I said, it all boils down to what I'm saying, vision. If my vision tallies with your vision, if our goal, if our objectives are similar, is to build a commonwealth, is to transform the society, is to impact the society for the better. Why do I have to somersault your policies if they are good enough? I can rebrand it, I can recouch it, I can reframe it, but if the vision is to develop and to bring bread and butter on the table, why there must be policy somersaults? These are issues, these are the contentious issues of development, because we have trivialized it. That if PDP is in power today and it is APC tomorrow, some of the good and lofty goals and objectives of the previous or the ancient regime has to be put at the back of the front burner. It should not be so. Look at the good sides of those policies. Look at the good areas of those policies. Continue to reframe and implement them. But continuity is very, very crucial. And the mindset matters in leadership, in governance. What kind of mindset do we take into the framework of leadership? Is it the win-win mindset? Whereas in politics, in government, it is win some, lose some. But our mindset is win-win-win.
Comrade Aderele, did you say that President Muhammadu Buhari during his administration there were a lot of outcry, especially on the nation's insecurity status? And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board with the mindset that he is a Nigerian. He has been in the country before becoming the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He knows what the problem were during the previous administration before he took over the mantle of leadership of this country. He should understand. Now he is here in the office. Can you say the situation then that we experience in terms, let's take one problem, for example, that is insecurity. Can you say so far the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to do better than what we experienced during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari?
Well, thank you, moderator. You will agree with me that one of the, like I said before, one of the duty of a good leadership is to provide security for its citizens. And one thing I noticed about this present government, to compare with the last administration, when you have a leader that listens, this administration is a listening administration. Last administration, despite outcry of people, a lot of things that were happening, then people were expecting that the leaders will talk to us, and people were so much concerned about their president talking to them. not even about the solution. And when you compare with this present administration, you agree with me that this president is a listening president. And that is why you see everyone, you know, everybody can express themselves. They can talk. Everybody can, you know, criticize the government openly so that they can, you know, one of the beauty of criticism is for government to be able to act and to do something for its citizens. And come back to your question. If you look at it very well, even at the Federal Capital Territory, you heard of insecurity at every nooks and cranny of the Federal Capital Territory. Bombs, explosion, you know, people are even afraid to go to the market. You know, during that period, you are not even, you remember the bomb blast, the train, and so many ones, you cannot even, but when you compare now, somebody is in Ogun State, or let me use Ogun State because Ogun State is so peaceful. Thank God for administration of our principal, my principal, His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, who provided enormous security in this state. You agree with me that out of 36 states, out of the 36 states in Nigeria, you agree with me that Ogun State is so peaceful that everywhere everybody wants to come and live in Ogun State. That is as a result of his proactiveness. Now, go back to the Federal Capital Territory. If you're listening to the address of the president this morning, you just heard that over 300 Boko Haram and banditry leadership were captured by the military, and the peace that is Federal Capital Territory and other states in the northeast are enjoying. You discover that at least it's far better compared to the last administration because of the proactiveness of the president.
So you are saying now that in terms of percentage, the administration of the last administration has you know, surpassed, or this administration rather has surpassed what the achievement has been in terms of security. You want to have a percentage rating?
Well, I won't want to do the rating, but I would say this administration has improved graciously. They have done well, and there's room for improvement, because when the expectation of your people has not yet been met, then there's need for, it's like saying you have not done anything. If a single soul is lost, it's as if even if you save 100, you have not done anything. We believe the government can do more, but to encourage them and for them to do more, at least if you compare with the last administration, is so far more better. And sorry to say, let me come down to, because Ogun State is under federal government of Nigeria. Look at Ogun State, the 3 senatorial districts. Everybody can go to their business place and workplace freely.
We can even sleep with our 2 eyes closed every day. The state government is
the state government is able to provide security equipment for the security outfit, their welfare package, supporting the federal government's policies and provision for them. Look at, of recent, state government donated vehicles, about 30 or something,
armor personnel
carrier to the police and other security agencies. So, if every state will emulate what is happening in Ogun State to complement the federal, everything in terms of security will be all right. So we want to employ our federal president to do more. We believe he's our father, he can do more.
Yes, there is room for improvement. Yes. That is just the point. And like you have said, I also want to say that Ogun State is relatively peaceful in terms of security. We can just say that anytime, any day. But we only pray and wish that we get it more better than we can ever imagine. Yes, Venerable Adebiyi, how best can we describe and identify quality leadership? You know, you're talking about policies of government, you're talking about programs, you're considering the provision of basic amenities and the needed, you know, life that is expected to be provided for people. And you want to look at this. How best can you identify a good leadership in all of this?
I've mentioned one or two. vision, focus, courage. Accountability is very crucial. You should be able to be accountable to the citizenry. What goes in, what goes out. To a large extent, you should let them know. That is, the feedback channel, the feedback mechanism has to be worked upon, even in the context of the present in Nigeria. That is, there's a lacuna somewhere that has to be breached. The information gap appears to be a little bit wide. That has to be closed. Government is trying, because when the man came on board, we met a lot of terrible things on ground. But notwithstanding, those are the challenges and problems and demands of leadership. You do not complain. You need to step into it and do what you can do to assuage and to pacify the situation, as it were. So accountability, transparency. You mentioned something, you have to be a listener. You have to be responsive to the yearnings and aspirations of the people. So to that extent, I would say, well, a lot has to be done. Because we've missed, like I said earlier, it's a mixed grill. We've had it nice, we've had it bad. I was opportune when I was much younger in this country, when the naira was almost at par with the dollar and the pound sterling. When you could comfortably, when I started work in this state, in 1977 to be specific also, 1978, I was on 46 naira. Later it went to 76 naira, and I lived comfortably. The first car I used then, a Volkswagen Igala, I sold for 500 naira. You
are even going to come and tell us.
Are you getting my point?
Now.
A tire was sold for 5 naira. A tube, because there were no tubeless tires then. A tube was sold for 50 kobo.
That was when we were having Dunlop in Nigeria.
Mind you, we fought a civil war, and we never borrowed a dime to prosecute that war. Nigeria came out very strong and healthy as a result of that unfortunate program and development. But we have missed a lot of opportunities. We have missed a lot of chances that we need. Because when you look at the president, I was at the Angolan embassy precisely a week from now, last week, and I was able to monitor the public dialogue that was organized by the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, with the caption, "Reflecting the past, inspiring the future." That was the theme of the discourse. So if we must reflect on the past and inspire the future. Those key areas that we have missed it, we need to get back to the drawing board and redress those areas. Take it or leave it. This country is so blessed. God has been extremely generous and benevolent to us as a nation. But we are like the prodigal son. We have missed a lot. We should be more than what we are now. We should be jubilating and rejoicing today. But the reverse is the case. But I know there will surely be light at the end of the tunnel. And as a leader, you must exhibit a lot of courage. You have to step on toes. You must be ready as a leader to step on toes. Leadership is not a tea party. It's not a child's play. So if you want to effect change and be impactful to the people and to the citizenry, you must be courageous, you must be bold. So whatever measures, whatever steps are being taken now, I know it may be painful, it may be so hard now, but I know there will be light at the end of the tunnel. But leadership must be demonstrative too. They should lead by example. He who goes to equity must go with clean hands. If you say, I should follow you, let me see you leading. That is the essence of leadership. That is the essence of governance. If you are asking me to follow you to the promised land, let me see you showing the way, showing the path, not you saying something and acting the other way. Go will say this.
Yes, you can also be the doer of what you practice what you preach. The topic is leadership and good governance, the Nigerian story since independence. And the keywords here are leadership, good governance, political crisis, development, and the country itself, Nigeria. That's what we're looking at. You can also be part of this conversation and join us when the time is. We shall be putting the phone line on the screen to also, take your contributions and let us know where we are and where we think we should be and how far we have been able to, to fulfill what it takes to be a developed nation. Yes, join us after this time out. We'll go for this short break and the program continues shortly.
Fatima Yusuf, a polio vaccinator working in Lagos. The challenge we face is mainly misunderstanding. Some say because the children receive routine immunization at health center, they don't need the one we give at home. Some won't go to the health center to receive routine immunization because they receive the polio vaccine at home. But both are important. Look at the dirty environment, bad sewage disposal, people defecating openly, contaminated water. Everything needed to spread polio is all around all of us. Polio can lead to paralysis and even death. You can't even say prevention is better than cure. Because for polio, there is no cure, only prevention.
I'm here to tell you that polio is like the rain that doesn't befriend anybody. The only cover against polio is for every child under the age of 5 to receive the polio vaccine. Your child is at risk because polio knows the look face. Polio doesn't discriminate.
Protect your child. Get them immunized in the hospital and at home.
Yes, glad to have you join us again, and it is the Independence episode of your talent program, Roundtable on OGTV, and we'll be looking at leadership and good governance, the Nigeria story since independence. And my good guest in the house, Venerable Dr. Gbenro Adebiyi, a public affairs analyst, and of course, Comrade Aderele Michael, the chairman of Abiodun Like Minds. I've been here, you know, talking to the topic, you know, what they think should be done, where the situation where we have gotten it all wrong, and you know, it's just a matter of talking about it, you know, dissecting it and put our analysis forward. But we pray that Nigeria would be great again. And let me now come to you. Yes, you can also be part of this conversation. The phone number is on the screen. Call us. Let us feel your pulse and what you think the government should know. You know, no man is an island. They don't have all the knowledge of this world. It can, you know, our one is also to help them rule better. Yes, that's just the beautiful thing. Here's a Comrade Aderele. You know, when it gets to me and I look at it and I want to say that, is it that something is a barrier between government and the people? Like I said when we went for that short break, some of these government policies, the people in the rural area, let's say, for example, some health policies and programs, these people are not even aware that this free healthcare exists anywhere. They do not even know that when my child is having malaria, I can easily access, you know, some little, say, paracetamol or something as free as that at the medical facility around them. They do not know, they are not aware. And they are there managing, you know, they take herbs, they use different concussions to cure malaria, and out of poverty, they cannot do much. What do you think government should do? What would be your own advice to government as regards this?
Well, thank you so much. You see, when we are talking about governments, everybody will look at president, look at governor. You know, probably, if things are not working, the president is not working. Even to that woman in that corridor in our father, Obafemi Owode local government, might not even remember to call the name of governor sometimes. Say, President, Tinubu is not working. And government is all about inclusiveness. And that is why one person is not going to be an island. President cannot do it alone. Governor cannot do it alone. And that is why you have several ministries, you have commissioners, you have special advisors, you have ministers, you have local government. Even at the local government, you have your councillors. Well, thank God for the new bill of local government autonomy. Maybe now that we have local government autonomy, all those opportunities will be revived. Because in those days, you are aware that a pregnant woman can easily walk into a health center. They will take delivery, and the woman will go free without any complication, without any stress of where do I get money to pay. Because the government were able to reach out to their people at the grassroots. Now, if the local government autonomy bill is being enforced, and of recent, sorry to say, because I am in Ogun State, most of my time is in Ogun State, you know, you agree with me recently, His Excellency, through his party, our party APC, just concluded their primary now, so that they'll be able to be part of this local government autonomy. Is taking action, because there is no way he himself cannot be everywhere. Even though there are ministries, a lot of ministries that is functioning very well. Look at health sector in Ogun State. It's working very fine. But the only area I think there is still need more to be done is the area of awareness. How do we reach out to our people? What is our local primary health workers? What is their duty? You go to some health centers, sometimes, not in Ogun State anyway, you might not be able to see a nurse to even attend to you. And if that nurse is even attend to you, does that nurse or whoever that is representing knows what and what are they professional? Are they professional? So do they even know what and what to dish out in terms of information to people? So there's need to do more in the areas of sensitization and awareness up to the grassroots. And that will be able to, they can be able to achieve that with local government autonomy. And like I said, inclusiveness. For example, in Ogun State, I know of that Ministry of Education is working very well. The Ministry of Health is functioning very well. Ministry of Agric is functioning very well. Transportation is functioning very well. And I can cite an example of those policies and implementation. For example, in the area of transportation, of recent, because of the challenge of transportation and the fuel high costs and so on like that, there was provision of CNG buses to convey people down to their various, within, even in my own local route there, in the morning you see people on the highway queuing, waiting for CNG bus to convey them down to their workplace. Even in Lagos, because I share border with Lagos, and a lot of them will not even go for public transport, waiting for it. Now, if we have replicants of those policies across the nooks and crannies of the state, using Ogun State as an example, and then there's no way government
will not touch down on the people.
So there's need for people at the helms of affairs. If you're a minister, what are you administering? What are you functioning? Of recent, President called out all the ministers to come and give accounts of what they are doing.
Planning a cabinet reshuffle.
Should we wait for that? Shouldn't the citizen be saying, this military is working, is performing? Because President will not leave his office to come and be commissioner or minister. And commissioner will not leave his office to come and be local government chairman or whatever. So everybody has a role to play.
And must be accessible to people.
And that I know in Ogun State, this government, my principal, His Excellency President Agbabe, gave everybody ample opportunity, he is so inclusive that as a commissioner, you can function very well. Gone are the days where you have a special advisor or special assistant with no portfolio. So if you are not functioning, it's your fault. Then you need to brace up. So everybody needs to be responsible at one level or the other, so that these government policies will be able to get to the people that really need it. As we are speaking right now, nothing concerns a market woman with your grammar. With what was their problem with policy? Their own is that, I want to buy rice.
It's available.
I want to go to a center. I can access it. I want to talk to somebody.
I need electricity. It's provided.
So government need to do more in terms of being responsible. Not when when I'm saying government, I'm not talking about looking at president, look at governor, but at every level in your community.
Yes, Comrade Adenrele, thank you for that beautiful, comprehensive analysis there. Yes, Venerable, let's go to the electoral process now. Since independence, we are talking about, since the story of Nigeria since independence. To an extent, some people say that the Nigeria situation in terms of the democracy practice is just like a case of a pregnant woman who already knows the child after the scan. He already knows what is in her womb before delivery. So they believe that the democracy, the electoral process, the system in Nigeria, it is not solely determined by the people. They say democracy is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. But I think reverse is the case. According to this analysis, government determines what happened. Government knows the result even before the election is conducted. What is your own reaction to this?
Thank you, my dear sister. You see, we need to have what you call a comprehensive and holistic surgery of the system, as it were. Seriously, because things are not what it should be. To speak the truth be told, things are not at 64. We are not where we should be. It's not yet Uhuru. We are still very far away. All the parameters, all the indices that can be used to measure effective and good governance are really seriously missing. You just talked about welfareism now. The government should be welfareist, focused and inclined. You should let them feel your impact. A government that is not impactful is a mirage. Now, back to your question on the electoral process. How does our leadership system or something evolve? Very contentious. These are issues of governance. Is it not the money bags taking all? Like I said earlier, is it not a win-win game for the money bags? Is it not for the godfathers, godmothers? Thank God somebody moved the motion at the House, and that I think the bill has passed, the first reading or the second reading, agitating and advocating for the return of the regional. Not regional, that is one, agitating for independent candidacy in the electoral process. You see, people we know who can...
And single 6-year term.
Yes, we really know who can really lead. Like I said, leadership is not a tea party. We have so much tribalized leadership in this country, both the leadership and the followership. We are guilty. All of us are guilty of whatever Nigeria is today. We are faulty, and every adult Nigerian is guilty and responsible for whatever we are passing through now. So we need a rejig. We had so many confabs, we have so many conference reports. Government should look back into the archives, draw out those papers, dust them, and to set up maybe some committees of experts, intellectuals, and professionals to look into those aspects of those recommendations that are relevant and activate, and that to the context, realities, and the situation. You see, we need to revive and we need to reinvent Nigeria. Nigeria has to be regenerated. There must be a renaissance, so to speak. There must be a rebirth. We are sleeping. We are not moving. I hope we wake up one day. Yes, according to Rothbard 2009, he argues that national security, rule of law, participation, economic opportunity, and human development are political goods which determine the performance of government. As much as I agree with this, submission, I want to say that Nigeria can be great. I'm sure Nigeria will be great. It is just our own effort that will determine what Nigeria will give birth to. We should be, intentional. We should be deliberate in all that we do across all sectors. You are in government or not, does not matter, but across board. And that's how far the program will take us today. The time will permit us to take on the program today. Yes, I pray and I know that God will also grant us another opportunity to be here next week. On behalf of my producer, I want to say thank you to my guest, Venerable Adebi, for coming on the show today. Always a pleasure for coming here. Thank you so much. And Comrade Michael Aderele, we're still going to call you for another robust discussion on the program. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you, my pleasure. And that's how far we'll go today. Join us again next week. My name is Morenikeji Shobaloju. Bye-bye.